Imagine surviving in a desert where temperatures soar to 122 degrees Fahrenheit, or in an Arctic where the cold can kill you in minutes. Now think, how did the first humans manage not just to survive, but to thrive in such extreme environments? Thousands of years ago, far from modern cities and technologies, our earliest ancestors faced unimaginable challenges. In environments like the Arctic and desert, hunting and gathering weren't just about finding food, they were about survival itself. The frozen wastelands of the north and the scorching sands of vast deserts presented obstacles that would terrify even the most experienced modern explorers. Yet somehow, these ancient societies developed remarkable strategies to master the most hostile places on our planet. In this journey through time, we'll uncover the ingenious methods these people used to transform harsh wilderness into their home. If you're passionate about history and eager to unravel the mysteries of humanity's greatest achievements, like this video, subscribe to the Dawn of Humankind channel and make sure you never miss an episode. Join our community of history enthusiasts as we explore the incredible story of human resilience and innovation throughout the ages. The Arctic, a vast white wilderness where temperatures can plummet to -58 degrees Fahrenheit. In this frozen realm, where most modern humans would perish within hours, the Inuit people not only survived, but created a rich culture spanning thousands of years. The secret to their remarkable endurance, a profound understanding of their environment, and incredibly resourceful hunting techniques. Inuit hunters tracked seals across vast ice fields, patiently waiting for hours by breathing holes in the ice. When a seal surfaced to breathe, they struck with harpoons crafted from bone, stone, and sinew, tools deceptively simple yet perfectly designed for their purpose. The truly astonishing feats came during whale hunts, when entire communities would coordinate in small skin boats called umiaks. Armed with nothing but handmade harpoons, they pursued creatures hundreds of times their size. This wasn't just hunting, it was an intricate dance with nature that required extraordinary courage and skill passed down through countless generations. When shelter was needed, they transformed the very element that threatened their survival, ice, into protection. Skilled builders could construct an igloo in less than an hour, cutting blocks from compacted snow and arranging them in a spiral that grew inward and upward. These ice homes weren't just functional, they were engineering marvels that could maintain interior temperatures of 25 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, even when outside temperatures dropped far below zero. But the Inuits' relationship with their prey went far beyond mere sustenance. Every part of these animals served a purpose in their survival. Seal and whale meat provided vital calories in a place where plants were scarce. The blubber wasn't just food, it was the cornerstone of Arctic survival, rendered into oil for heat, light, and cooking. Sinews became thread, bones became tools, and skins were transformed into the most effective cold-weather clothing ever designed. So effective that modern Arctic explorers still use designs inspired by traditional Inuit garments. Did you know that the Inuit developed a special lamp called a kullik, carved from soapstone and fueled by seal oil? These ingenious lamps served as the heart of every igloo, providing not just light during the long, dark winter months, but also enough heat to warm their homes, dry, wet clothing, and cook meals. A skilled woman could adjust the moss wick to control the flame perfectly, creating a sustainable heat source that used resources with remarkable efficiency. For thousands of years before electricity reached the Arctic, these small flames were the center of Inuit family life, a technology so perfectly adapted to their environment that it remained unchanged for millennia. While the Arctic presented its frozen challenges, the scorching deserts demanded an entirely different kind of intelligence. In places like the Sahara, where daytime temperatures routinely soar above 120 degrees Fahrenheit, nomadic tribes developed extraordinary strategies that turned a seemingly barren landscape into a source of life. These desert masters, like the Tuareg and Bedouin peoples, understood that survival required constant movement and an intimate knowledge of their environment. Unlike the abundance of prey in the Arctic, desert hunting demanded patience, stealth, and cunning. Hunters would track the delicate footprints of gazelles across vast dunes, following trails invisible to untrained eyes. They crafted ingenious pit traps along animal paths, carefully disguised with light coverings of sand and desert plants, a deadly surprise for unsuspecting prey. But it wasn't just large game that sustained these communities. Small lizards, considered unappetizing by modern standards, provided crucial protein. Desert people knew exactly which rocky crevices might hide these creatures and developed specialized tools to extract them. Even insects, particularly locusts, became valuable food sources during times of scarcity, rich in nutrients and requiring little water to digest. The true genius of desert peoples, however, was their botanical knowledge. Where modern travelers might see nothing but lifeless sand, these ancient foragers recognized dozens of edible desert plants. They harvested drought-resistant roots, bitter berries, and specialized seeds that could remain dormant for years before germinating after rare rainfall. Plants like the desert gourd stored precious water in their fruits, while others contained vital medicinal properties that could treat everything from snake bites to fevers. Perhaps most impressive was their ability to find water in a land defined by its absence. These nomads could read the landscape like a map, identifying slight changes in vegetation that signaled underground water sources. They memorized the locations of hidden oases, sometimes separated by journeys of several days, and passed this critical knowledge through generations. Some tribes could even locate water by observing animal behavior or recognizing subtle changes in air temperature and humidity. The Sand people of the Kalahari, for instance, perfected the remarkable technique of extracting water from seemingly dry sand. They would dig specialized sip wells, sometimes 6 feet deep, carefully constructed to reach the water table without collapsing. Using hollow reeds as natural straws, they could access life-sustaining moisture invisible from the surface. These weren't just survival techniques. They were sophisticated ecological adaptations developed over thousands of years. What makes these skills even more remarkable is that many were developed long before the first cities arose in Mesopotamia. While early agricultural societies were just beginning to master crop irrigation, these desert nomads had already perfected the art of thriving in one of Earth's most unforgiving environments. Their methods reflected something profound. Survival in the desert wasn't about dominating nature, but becoming fluent in its language. They didn't just survive in the desert, they became part of it, turning one of the world's most hostile environments into their home. In these extreme environments, where nature constantly tested human limits, innovation wasn't just beneficial, it was essential for survival. The tools created by Arctic and desert peoples represent some of humanity's most ingenious adaptations, refined over countless generations. In the frozen north, the Inuit developed an astonishing toolkit perfectly suited to their icy world. Obsidian knives, with edges sharper than modern surgical steel, could slice through frozen meat and tough hide with remarkable precision. These weren't crude implements, but precision instruments, often fitted with handles carved from caribou antler or walrus ivory for better grip in freezing conditions. Perhaps most remarkable was the ulu, a crescent-shaped woman's knife still used today. With its curved blade and ergonomic handle, it allowed efficient processing of animal hides and meat with minimal wasted motion, crucial when every calorie counted. A skilled woman could use an ulu to butcher an entire seal, transforming it from prey to sustenance, clothing, and tools, with almost nothing wasted. For hunting on ice and snow, the Inuit created specialized harpoons with detachable heads, an engineering marvel that prevented powerful marine mammals from breaking the shaft and escaping. Once the harpoon head embedded in the animal, it rotated sideways, creating an anchor that couldn't pull free, connected to the hunter by a line of braided sinew. This technology, developed thousands of years before the first universities taught engineering, solved complex physics problems through observation and experimentation. Meanwhile, in scorching deserts, entirely different tools emerged to meet unique challenges. Desert hunters crafted lightweight throwing sticks curved to return to the thrower if they missed their target, an early precursor to the boomerang. This meant precious energy wasn't wasted retrieving weapons in blistering heat. Bows designed for desert hunting were often smaller and more maneuverable than those from other regions, allowing quick shots at fast-moving prey like gazelles. Arrows might be tipped with natural plant toxins that paralyzed prey animals without contaminating the meat. A sophisticated understanding of pharmacology developed millennia before formal chemistry. Water was precious beyond measure, so desert peoples created remarkable storage solutions. The Sand people fashioned water containers from emptied ostrich eggs, which could preserve water for months in scorching heat. Other desert tribes developed specialized clay vessels that cooled water through evaporation, nature's refrigeration in an age before electricity. What's truly fascinating about these tools isn't just their effectiveness, but how they represent a profound philosophical difference from modern technology. Today, we often create technology that shields us from environments we consider hostile. These ancient peoples, however, developed tools that allowed them to become more deeply integrated with their surroundings, not to escape the environment, but to become part of it. Each tool tells a story of problem-solving, creativity, and survival. Each innovation represents thousands of years of knowledge, passed down and refined through generations, a testament to human ingenuity in the face of nature's greatest challenges. So did you know that Inuit people used seal blubber as fuel? If you're enjoying this exploration of ancient innovation, please like this video, share it with friends who appreciate human ingenuity, and subscribe to The Dawn of Humankind for more incredible stories from our past. And tell us in the comments, do you think you could survive in one of these extreme environments with only these ancient tools at your disposal? What modern technology would you miss the most? Beyond the physical, tools and survival techniques, perhaps the most profound adaptations to extreme environments, were cultural and spiritual. These societies didn't just develop ways to survive physically. They created rich cultural frameworks that gave meaning to their challenging existence and strengthened their communities. In the Arctic, Inuit spiritual beliefs reflected their intimate relationship with the animals upon which their lives depended. When a hunter took the life of a seal or whale, it wasn't seen as simply killing prey, but participating in a sacred exchange. The hunter would offer fresh water to the slain seal, believing that the animal's soul was thirsty after living in salt water. This wasn't mere superstition. It reflected a profound understanding that their survival depended on maintaining respectful relationships with the natural world. The Inuit creation myths often featured Sedna, the goddess of the sea and marine animals. Stories told how she controlled the release of sea creatures to hunters. If people violated hunting taboos or showed disrespect to the animals, Sedna would withhold the prey, bringing starvation. These beliefs created a sophisticated conservation ethic long before modern environmental science. Hunters would never take more than needed and would utilize every part of the animal, wasting nothing. Their social structures, too, reflected Arctic realities. Traditional Inuit communities practiced remarkable forms of resource sharing. After a successful hunt, specific portions of the animal would be distributed throughout the community according to established customs, ensuring everyone received what they needed. During winter months, extended families would often share a single dwelling, creating a microclimate of warmth through their combined body heat, a cultural adaptation as important as any physical tool. Meanwhile, in the scorching deserts, nomadic peoples developed equally sophisticated spiritual beliefs centered around water and survival. Many desert cultures had elaborate myths about water spirits and deities who controlled the precious liquid. The San people of the Kalahari believed in water spirits who had to be approached with respect and proper ritual. These weren't just stories, they encoded crucial information about respecting and conserving water sources. Desert peoples often practiced intricate rain ceremonies, drawing upon centuries of meteorological observations disguised as religious ritual. They could identify subtle changes in wind patterns, cloud formations, and animal behaviors that preceded rainfall. What might appear to outsiders as superstitious dance was actually a cultural calendar marked by environmental indicators. Social structures in desert communities emphasized movement and flexibility. Nomadic groups like the Bedouin developed complex kinship systems that allowed them to form larger groups during resource-abundant seasons and disperse into smaller family units when resources were scarce. This cultural flexibility, knowing when to come together and when to spread out, was as crucial to survival as any physical adaptation. Perhaps most remarkable were the oral traditions of these societies. Without written language, they transmitted vast libraries of environmental knowledge through stories, songs, and ceremonies. A seemingly simple myth might contain precise information about plant locations, animal migration patterns, or water sources, cultural memory serving as survival manual. What we see in both Arctic and desert cultures is that spiritual beliefs weren't separate from survival strategies. They were the framework that organized and preserved essential knowledge. Respect for animals and resources wasn't just moral teaching. It was practical ecological management that ensured sustainable living in environments where mistakes could be fatal. These cultural systems remind us that human adaptation isn't just technological, but social and spiritual. The most successful societies in extreme environments didn't just develop tools for survival. They created entire worldviews that transformed harsh landscapes from enemies into sacred homes. The wisdom of these ancient societies doesn't just belong to the past. It continues to influence our world today in remarkable ways. The legacy of people who mastered extreme environments offers powerful lessons for our modern challenges. In the Arctic, many Inuit communities still practice traditional hunting techniques alongside modern technology. Their ancestral knowledge of sea ice patterns has proven invaluable to climate scientists studying global warming. When NASA and other research organizations need to understand the complex behavior of Arctic ice, they often turn to Inuit elders whose lifetime of observations provides insights that satellites alone cannot capture. The traditional clothing designs of Arctic peoples remain unmatched in their effectiveness. Modern Arctic expedition gear still incorporates principles developed by the Inuit thousands of years ago. Layered construction, air-trapping furs, and specialized design features like fur-lined hoods that create a microclimate around the face. The most expensive high-tech parka today often functions on principles discovered by ancient Arctic dwellers. Perhaps even more fascinating is how Arctic survival techniques have influenced space exploration. When NASA designs habitat systems for potential Mars missions, they study traditional igloo construction to understand how to create efficient shelters in hostile environments. The igloo's dome shape, which maximizes interior space while minimizing heat loss, represents a design brilliance that modern architects still admire. Meanwhile, in desert regions, the water-finding techniques of ancient nomads have helped modern communities facing drought conditions. In parts of northern Africa, traditional knowledge about locating underground water sources has been combined with modern drilling technology to create sustainable water access where conventional methods failed. Desert architecture provides another powerful legacy. The passive cooling systems developed by ancient desert dwellers, narrow streets to create shade, wind-catching towers, and thick, insulating walls, are now being incorporated into sustainable building designs worldwide. As energy costs rise and climate change intensifies, architects are rediscovering the genius of these ancient cooling strategies that require no electricity. Even the pharmacological knowledge of desert peoples continues to yield benefits. Plant compounds used medicinally by tribes like the San have led to modern medications for conditions ranging from diabetes to obesity. The desert-adapted plants they identified through centuries of experimentation are now studied by pharmaceutical companies searching for drought-resistant medicinal species that might survive in a warming world. One of the most profound lessons these extreme societies offer isn't technological, but philosophical. In an age of climate uncertainty and environmental challenges, their worldview of adaptation, rather than domination, provides a powerful alternative model. They didn't try to conquer their environments. They learned to dance with them, developing relationships of respect and reciprocity that allowed sustainable living in places where balance was essential for survival. As modern societies face increasing environmental instability, the resilient strategies of these ancient peoples offer inspiration beyond specific techniques. They remind us that human ingenuity, community cooperation, and deep ecological knowledge can overcome seemingly impossible challenges. They prove that sustainability isn't a modern concept, but an ancient practice refined over thousands of years. The story of hunting and gathering in extreme environments isn't just about our past, it's about possibilities for our future. In the face of climate change, resource scarcity, and environmental degradation, these ancient societies remind us that humans have faced seemingly impossible environmental challenges before and found ways to not just survive, but thrive. Their legacy is a powerful testimony to human adaptability and creativity, a reminder that even in the most hostile places on Earth, with patience, observation, and respect for the natural world, humanity can find a home. As we've journeyed through these extreme environments, from the frozen Arctic to the scorching deserts, we've witnessed something truly remarkable about our human story. Hunting and gathering in these harsh landscapes wasn't merely about finding the next meal. It was the canvas upon which our ancestors painted masterpieces of human ingenuity. These societies remind us that long before smartphones and satellite technology, humans were developing sophisticated solutions to seemingly impossible challenges. The Inuit hunter tracking a seal across vast ice fields, the desert nomad reading subtle shifts in sand patterns to find water. They weren't just surviving. They were demonstrating the extraordinary heights human creativity can reach when tested by nature's most extreme conditions. What's perhaps most humbling is how these ancient innovations continue to inspire us today. Modern survival gear, sustainable architecture, conservation practices, all draw wisdom from people who lived thousands of years ago. People who understood their environments with a depth and intimacy that we're only beginning to appreciate. In an age when we face our own global environmental challenges, these stories of resilience offer something precious: hope. They show us that human communities, working together with deep respect for the natural world, can adapt to circumstances that seem impossible. They prove that our capacity for creative problem-solving runs deep in our collective DNA. So what can we learn from these remarkable stories of human resilience? Perhaps it's that our greatest strength has never been our ability to dominate nature, but rather our capacity to understand it deeply and live in balance with it. Perhaps it's that true innovation often comes not from having more resources, but from deeply understanding the ones available to us. What lessons do you draw from these ancient masters of survival? How might their wisdom help us navigate our own uncertain future? If you've been inspired by this exploration of human ingenuity in extreme environments, please take a moment to like this video and share it with friends who appreciate the remarkable story of human adaptation. Subscribe to the Dawn of Humankind channel to join us on more journeys through humanity's most fascinating chapters, from the rise of ancient civilizations to the forgotten innovators who shaped our world.